this evening to hopefully have no audio issues. It looks like right now the audio issues are okay, but they were looking okay in the other room too. Even though you have Wi-Fi boosters in the house, sometimes when you kind of spread things out, sometimes that can still have some issues. So I'm going to give it a few minutes to make sure everybody is telling me that you can hear just okay. I just moved into the other living room in the house. And like I say, it's right next to Wi-Fi. This is actually the other side of the house. We have two sides. We have one living room over there, and then we have another living room over here. This side of the house, of course, the whole thing's still being renovated, but this side of the house hasn't really even been touched yet. So, all right. So, sounds like Bud said we sound good. Hear you loud and clear. You probably are going to hear some whining in the background or some dogs. Once I come into this side of the house, the dogs always want to come in here. And they want to come in here and play. So there still could be some audio issues. There could be some sync issues, perhaps, maybe, but we'll see. But everybody says we hear all right. But if you hear a dog barking in the background, that's probably either Dazzy or Miley, because they want to come in here and play. So, all right, let's try to do this now. This is where I had the issues in the other room when I was trying to go and do another, I was trying to do what's called a screen grab. So hopefully we don't have that this go round. I turn off that chime that comes with that little dinosaur you see jumping every time somebody likes it. That's what happens. So, all right. So let's go in and let's see. So far, so good with everything. Let's see. Hopefully that continues. All right. I think it was the Wi-Fi. I believe. Yeah, you can hear them at the line. You'll probably hear them bark in a few minutes, I bet. All right, so now it looks like we're going to be okay, so let's try to get into it. So I've had a lot of questions today asking me about what's the weather look like for next week. A lot of posts on social media, even the Weather Service is even talking about it. I'm going to say I am not super confident in the forecast for next week as far as how things are going to play out, what potentially could happen. One thing I am confident about is it's going to be a lot colder starting tomorrow. Arctic front arrives in the morning. And tomorrow will be a day where we probably see 40s throughout the day with blustery north winds. Then really cold stuff gets here tomorrow night and Monday. Monday right now looks like a really nasty day. In fact, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, all 3 days could be pretty nasty. So especially if we start throwing moisture into the mix. So let's take a look at what's going on. We're going to start looking at the computer model here. And we'll discuss that for just a few, and then we'll kind of go from there. We're going to look at the upper level charts first. This is what's called the 500 millibar chart. You're going to see it pop up here in just a minute. This is showing vorticity in the atmosphere. And when we look for storm systems, the correct meteorological term for it is vorticity. It's spin. Vorticity spins. And this is what it looks like. This is up there about 20,000 feet in the atmosphere. We have these storm systems. These are where the main storm systems originate at. So if you look, we got a couple things going on here. Number one, you've got the cold air being funneled in from the north. Okay, the jet stream from the north is funneling in and is putting that cold air down. So I was trying to use another little program here, but I don't have it set up correctly here. But anyway, the northern stream, you can see it up this way. That's bringing the cold air south. That's bringing the cold stuff from the Arctic regions. So somebody's just cutting in and out some. So it appears to be perhaps maybe when I'm using the screen issue here is when it's cutting in and out. Hopefully that doesn't continue. But anyway, we got cold air coming in from the north. At the same time, we got this storm system that's back to the west over here. You can see it kind of cut off over there. And it's that storm system that's to the west that's throwing the moisture in our direction. You can see it sits there and spins throughout the week. Whenever I start using this is when it starts to break up. Yeah, I don't. It's probably something to do with the computer. I bet when I start using gadgets, just kind of humor me for a little bit. I know it's not going to be the best audio quality. I'll fix that. I promise. But at least for this Facebook Live here, we're just going to go with what we have. Okay. So And like I was saying, our computer models really doing a very good job of showing much of anything. They're just kind of all over the place again. In my opinion, their pattern looks fine, looks good for something. The afternoon run of the NAM model, and as you can, there was on Monday, and it was showing some pink there. That's probably going to be in the form of either some light sleet or some light freezing drizzle. Now, I'm not 100% certain that is actually going to happen there, but it could. That part of the forecast, not super confident there. As we go on out, here are Tuesday night and Wednesday, not a whole lot there, but if you look at Tuesday morning, it looks like there will probably be another little slug of moisture up our way. That could result in maybe some light sleet again or some light freezing rain, freezing drizzle type thing. And even though this is light, it doesn't take much to create problems when temperatures are cold, when they're well below freezing. And it'll turn roads into, make the roads real treacherous and make a lot of slippery and hazardous driving. So that is something that we always have to be cognizant of. The latest, the 0Z or the evening data model, I bet, is out. Let's take a look at that. See what it's showing while we're here. Thomas just slipped away from me today. I just even at 7 o'clock. This is not going to take us out that far. But it does show that cold trying to, by Monday morning, develop a little light sleet or some light freezing drizzle. Even freezing drizzle can present problems. I'm not a big fan of this I'm about to show you. It just usually doesn't do very. It's called the Canadian computer model. And I don't show it or talk about it very often because I'm just not a big fan of it. When you have Arctic air in place, our computer models just for whatever reason just can't handle it. They try to warm things up too fast. They're never cold enough for starters. They're usually too slow in getting the cold air here, and then they try to warm things up too fast. The two main computer models that I like to look at are called the GFS and also called the European. Those are two good models. But both of them, for whatever reason, are really warming us up too fast. In fact, they have us well above freezing on Wednesday. But usually speaking, with Arctic air, that's usually not the case. So I've gone and looked at computer models that might make a little bit more sense. And lo and behold, the Canadian computer model actually looks a little bit more like what I would expect to see. This would be Monday. You can see not a lot going on Monday to Tuesday. It's not picking up on Tuesday. But look at this, what it's showing for Wednesday. It's showing moisture coming in from the south, and it has a more significant or a heavier swath of freezing rain over us. If Wednesday into Thursday, if this scenario were to play out, this could potentially give us a more significant, what would be perhaps an ice storm, and even has it kind of ending as a little snow there on the backside. But again, it's the Canadian model. I'm not a huge fan of the Canadian model. A lot of times it's not right. But maybe in this instance, afternoon runs of the GFS ensembles. And if you look again, people are like, what in the world is that? Well, the GFS throws a bunch of different scenarios out sometimes, and then what it does is, well, every day it does, every run it does. And then it comes into the, it kind of takes an average of it and tries to tell which one's doing the best. But anyway, oftentimes a lot of these won't be right. But when you start seeing several of them start to kind of show some type of a scenario, usually that's kind of a trend the weather pattern is going to go. And if you look here for Tuesday morning, most or several of them anyway, have some light ice over us. The European does too. But as we get towards Wednesday, you can see even some of the ensembles try to have some ice down our way, but a lot of them try to warm us up pretty fast. So, that's what we're looking at there. Not a clear-cut scenario, but certainly is something that we definitely need to keep an eye on. I'll show you the European computer model real fast. And again, you're probably going to see some cutting out of the audio here, and I do apologize for that. I thought it was the Wi-Fi, but I think it's this FM or whatever it is I'm using. The last one I was using worked great. This one, this kind of sucks, honestly. The video quality is real good with it. Just the audio, I'm having to go through I'm having to use a microphone to make this work. And I know that may not make sense to you, but it's I was having to do it before, and it just isn't very good. So I'm getting hungry. I need to go fix myself something to eat. All right, so here are the European computer. It's not even going to show you the GFX. Not very good with this whole situation. I don't think it's right. You're probably getting some cut out here. So, and again, I'll work on this and I'll get it fixed. I'll probably come on here again and I'll get it fixed. But here's a European. It's going to show around mostly. This would be Tuesday morning. That's Tuesday morning. And then as we head towards Wednesday, it tries to bring stuff in on Wednesday morning. But then it transitions us to rain real fast. And it's possible. You know, when you're dealing with freezing rain, it's just a whole different scenario. Like if I'm dealing with snow and I'm throwing, like last week, you throw a lot of ice, a whole bunch of it, and it starts to melting, it can actually help cool temperatures. The opposite takes place in freezing rain. Unless you've got solid cold air in place, when you start to try to freeze a raindrop or a some liquid, what it does is it releases its warm air. The raindrop does, the water does. It releases its temperature, which is above freezing. And it tries to absorb the cold air, so it kind of does the opposite. It can actually warm it. So let's say it's 31, 30 degrees outside. And remember, when you're dealing with freezing rain above the Earth's surface, the air is much, much warmer. So you're throwing warmer raindrops down into a cold surface. And with freezing rain, usually it's a real shallow layer of cold air, usually like 1,000 feet thick or even less. So you throw that warm air, that warm water into it, and it has a tendency to kind of warm things up, especially if you throw heavier precipitation in. Usually light to moderate doesn't impact it as much, but if you throw heavy precipitation into it, it'll cause temperatures to rise. So that may be what the European model is trying to do there. It increases the rain some, so maybe it's trying to warm us up. It too does on Thursday, try to bring a little bit on the backside of the system, a little bit of wintry stuff, but we'll see what happens. Bottom line is it's going to be really cold over the next couple of days. So I hope you enjoyed today, because it is going to be cold outside. I actually went and got some firewood today from down at the shed. And so I'm ready to go, hopefully. Let me show you temperatures. We'll show you how fast that cold air is going to get here. This is an old gaming PC here, by the way. I have an Apple computer too that I like, but it's not compatible with a lot of things that I'm trying to do with this Streamlabs. So I think that the old gaming laptop computer's got a great graphics card in it. I just had the added to it, so it runs fast, but it has a tendency to get a little laggy, I think. So here was today. Now watch what happens as we head into. There's right around 5, 6 a.m. Look at those numbers dropping down at the 30. Tomorrow we drop down into, and then with clouds and rain around on Monday. Probably clouds around. I don't know if we're going to see much rain. Maybe a little drizzle or like with that around it holds back. We probably don't get out of the 20s on Monday. Air all the way down into deep South Texas. Yeah, it does look pretty like it could potentially be pretty gross. 0 to about 42 hours on Tuesday, or Monday, Monday. So let's see what happens to it. And there again, it's the lagginess in the audio may be due with the computer. I thought Wi-Fi, but it might be the computer, because even trying to run these graphics, it's not able to do it. It's real laggy. So, but you can see there on Monday, it does have, looks like a little freezing drizzle, perhaps trying to develop just east of us. That could also be towards us. But, as of right now, what I'm expecting is, we only got 40 viewers, so that makes sense. I can, again, I do apologize. Most everybody's probably, yeah, I agree. And everybody is saying you're cutting out. YouTube stream is way better. All right, so I'm going to try to do some answering of some questions here if you have any. So if you have any questions, make sure that you ask them to me, please. All right, so most everybody I have talking about cutting in and out. And we don't have many viewers on here anyway, and I can definitely understand why. I mean, this is just a disaster. I need to work on this. I really do. This is definitely not not the kind of quality I want to bring you. I want to bring you the best quality I can bring you, and this is definitely not it. So, how will travel be towards Dallas on Tuesday? It could be a little slick, so be careful if you're going to be doing that one. Amanda wants to know, is it going to be some ice around on Monday? And the answer to that question is there could be some light stuff, but I don't expect much. I'm not really forecasting much. I'll mention a little freezing drizzle, or a little sleet, maybe a snow flurry, but I don't think it'll be much. But remember, when you're dealing with ice, when you're dealing with cold temperatures and moisture, you're going to be dealing with in a situation where it doesn't take much to create slick problems. So that's something that we'll have to keep an eye on. I do hope I get this fixed. This is nowhere near where I want this to be. There appears to be a bit of a syncing issue here with audio too, and there just appears to be a lot of things wrong with it. So there's a delay. So yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna jump off here and just work on this some more. This is definitely not what I want to do. This is not what I want to bring you. So let me jump off here and work on this some more, and then maybe we can get it fixed late tonight.